here we are. This is Sex Love Psychedelics, and I'm your host, Dr. Kat, bringing you psychosexual conversations that will leave you intellectually turned on and hungry for more.
Being an artist online where nobody knows who you are, there's that extra sense of protection around you.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah. Do people, I guess, who gets to know that you are the author of Lara?
That's it. That's interesting. Well, first of all, I think that actually being anonymous actually gives people a lot more opportunity to see themselves in the stories, and also, funny enough, to share their story, kind of like the same thing I said earlier, because they feel not very judged, I mean, apart from me not being a very judgy person, but because it's somebody that they don't know, right? So it's kind of easier to scream it into the void and feel helped by that. But who knows? Who knows the real me? Well, friends, family, partner, partners. I mean, depending. So it's not like a secret within. And, obviously collaborators, like people I work with, photographers I work with, they all see my face, but they're all wonderful people and they haven't shared my face. So that's really sweet.
Yeah. So do lovers or partners, do they, people that you're dating, do they get to know that you're the anonymous artist behind Tales of Lara, or how does that work for you?
Good question. Depends, I mean,
when did they find out? We'll say that.
Well, yeah, I'm in a relationship now, but let's say they find out, I think people would find out after, dating me for a little bit, I think. I mean, not too long, but not just, not first date, like, hey, so listen, you want to see some naked photos of me?
And here's some super sexy stories that I've gallivanted the world around, like, not to intimidate you or put any pressure on you and my sexual prowess, but
it's funny, because I think, I mean, obviously, some people I've dated have then read my work, and I think it's actually given them like motivation.
Oh,
yeah, to satisfy me, I think, more so than intimidation. But I don't know, maybe, they would probably have to speak for themselves. But I just felt like the good thing about it is that the conversation about sex is on the table immediately, right? So it makes it so much easier, I think, even for, partners to be like, oh shit, I can talk about sex very openly with this person. And so therefore, it's not as scary to be like, oh, I like this, I don't like this, what do you like? So there's that it definitely helps with, I guess, in that sense.
Yeah, because there is a taboo, or there is a, this undercurrent in our society of don't talk about sex, or that's awkward to talk about sex, or it's inappropriate to talk about it too soon. We live in a world with a lot of rules, a lot of dating rules, especially. I was reading an article. Huh? It is. And I was reading this article recently about the concept of the 3-date rule, so that we don't come across as, and I get it. It's like a protective mechanism for us. So we don't come across as too eager or too easy or too aggressive.
Oh, you mean like not sleep with somebody, right? Until the 3rd date?
Okay, yeah. But then your work is, your erotica is very sexually liberated. It's very,
totally.
Yeah.
I don't believe in that rule at all, but.
Oh God, no, me neither. I fuck on the first date sometimes. And they're great.
I mean, yeah, or you fuck on the 10th date, whatever you feel is appropriate. I think that's, I think this is a bit of the misunderstanding about sexual emancipation, in a sense that I don't think it's about how often and how much and how wild your sex life is, it's about you being in touch with your needs and acting accordingly, right? So it's you being empowered in a sense of like, oh, I would love to make love to you right now. Or honestly, I'm not feeling it. And I might not be feeling it for a while, whatever that is for you. But I think that's what the emancipation aspect is, what it really is about, in a sense.
Yeah, really teaching people authentic discernment for themselves and really tuning into moment to moment, situation to situation. Whereas if we put this rule on us, what if it's not true for us? And
Totally.
I almost see this like self-betrayal or self-abandonment when we try to live this quote unquote, this rule.
Yes. And like you said, right, a rule that goes in all directions. There's so many rules. You can twist yourself in a pretzel, trying to appease everybody around you and not in a fun kind, I feel like that's the thing when I said earlier, kind of facetiously, to not give a fuck. I mean, more like, you live your life the way you want to live it. And with my work, there is something I think that I felt like was missing, and that was to express my hunger and my desire and this real feminine force, that I felt within me. And then I felt a bit, I guess, abandoned by society.
Oof.
Having these feelings and like, oh, I have no way to express this without being labeled something, or without being even maybe fearful of what that would mean about me or something like that. So when I really started exploring these parts of me, it was such a, I took a very unusual path, I think, to start expressing my sexuality also through my artwork. But it was so liberating, and all I want is to inspire people to live theirs, however that looks like.
Yes. When did you start writing these? How long ago was that?
I think, well, I started writing them just for myself actually first.
Right.
So I wasn't really intended to be published for a little bit. So probably 5 years ago, I started writing, just for me, like to turn myself on and like, because, I couldn't really see myself in like mainstream porn or in any, or my desire being pictured, or, so I was like, I'm just going to do this because I've been a writer all my life, but I was like, oh, I'm just going to do this for fun. And then I've done it. I kind of like fell into it and I was like, oh no, now I've written so much, what I'm going to do with this. And I decided to publish it because I was like, well, maybe, just maybe there's some women out there who feel the same way. Or some men who maybe will appreciate being the object of desire for a change, right? But I really didn't think of men at all, to be honest, until some started following me. It wasn't the focus of my work at all. I was just like, oh, maybe there's some girls and women out there who like me didn't really see themselves, in mainstream pop culture depiction of sexuality. That's why I put it out there. And it was a weird moment because, it's very vulnerable and being anonymous helped, obviously, I guess, to a certain degree with the vulnerability in the sense that it's not your face, right? And but still, it's my body, it's my voice, it's my art. So it was interesting. Thank God it worked out, I guess.
It's still very personal. And you're
definitely
taking
personal.
a risk with that.
Well, that was fun. Thanks for tuning in, lovers. And if you want to experience more ecstasy and sexual liberation, head over to sexlovepsychedelics.com and learn about how you can join me for any one of my online or live events. And while you're there, grab my free guide on sex and psychedelics. Remember, this podcast is for entertainment and educational purposes only. Please contact your healthcare provider and local law before pursuing any of the products or psychedelics discussed. And one final note here. I make this show specifically for you. If you're loving the show, then be sure to leave me a review in iTunes or Spotify to let me know. Happy to be here and happy to serve. I'll see you next time on Sex Love Psychedelics.